here to share with you this morning. And the music just is so heartwarming, and we're in this wonderful community, and all is right with the world. So I came across a quote by Rumi that says, "Don't be satisfied with stories, how things have gone with others. Unfold your own myth." So I thought that was just a wonderful thing to do, knowing that we have the ability to write our own story. That if you knew that you had that power, what would your story be in this moment? Would you write about all the times you fell down and got up and tried again? Would you write about how heart-centered you remained in the face of stress? Would your story have a happy ending? Or would it be a tale of woe and struggle? Or possibly it'd be a combination of all of the above. Because we all have our challenges, we all have issues, but we all have greatness. And those issues and the challenges are designed to propel us forward on our spiritual path. They're not here to knock us over. They're not here to make life difficult. They are here for our good. And all the things that happen in our lives are designed, again, to move us forward. So we can define what that means. We can write a new ending if we don't like the current. Because everything exists and begins in the power of our mind. So we are powerful beyond measure, and we are the ones that create our own story. Not a story. I was in Boston yesterday. I flew in very late at night, and I rented a car. I probably got there about 12 a.m. And when they took me to my car, written on the windshield in white marker on the side were the words, "Never lost." Interesting. I'm never lost. Okay, I'm good with maps. And I had about an hour to go, and I get in the car, and there's a contraption in there that I'm assuming is some form of GPS, and it says "Never lost, done it again." But there's no way to key in an address or anything. So I put my address into the phone. I also have a hard copy of the map, and I'm driving, and I can't find where I'm going, but I never lost because that's what the car says. So I eventually find my way to the hotel, and next morning I get up, and I again have a map. I know I'm about half an hour away from the church that I am the presenter of a workshop for about 30 people. I'm supposed to be there around 8:30, and we start at 9:30. And so I'm very confident. I have a map, I have a GPS, I'm on my way. I drive about 30 minutes, arrive at the address, and it is a house. I've been there before, and I know the church is not a house. I know it's a church. So I check the address. Yes, it says I am where I'm supposed to be. It look up. Again, it's not it. I call the church, and the phone is not in service. So I again look out the window. I can see written, "Never lost." Hey. And I key in the address again, thinking possibly I put the wrong city in. And it says I'm 8 minutes away. So okay, I'm on the south side, maybe I need to be on the north side. And it just takes me around the block and puts me back in front of this house. So now I'm concerned that I'm not even in the right town, and I do not know what town I'm in. So I go back to my contraption that says "Never lost," and I see a button that says "On." I push on, and I can locate myself, which is always helpful. I push the button, and I am not in Worcester, Massachusetts. I am in Westboro or something. So no idea where I need to go. So in my, so I can create a story around that. Okay, I'm getting stressed out. I have 5 minutes, and I'm supposed to be there, and I'm not anywhere close. And I don't like to go in late. I like to arrive early and have it all set up so everyone can come in and have this wonderful experience. So I key in the correct city, and I am a half an hour away.
Oh gosh.
So I again breathe into the heart, affirm I am never lost, that's what my car says, and go on my way, realizing that they're not going to start without me. And I made it in 10 minutes to spare. So I at any time could have told a very tragic tale to myself and allowed myself to get more stressed out and And when we do that, when we take these things that happen to us and we make them difficult, or we tell a story, an ending that is not really what we want, we place ourselves in our reptilian brain, which we either fight or we fly, or we're in our emotional centers where we're thinking back or remembering something that looks similar to this, where we had a lot of difficulty. But if we remember to breathe, that's such a beautiful song, just breathe, we will bring all that power and energy into our frontal lobes where we can make a conscious choice. And then we can begin to create what it is we really want to create. And there's a book called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. And this is a wonderful book because our brains are these magnificent computers that record everything we've ever done, every thought, every experience. It can also be called our subconscious, and it just stores these memories. And so when we ask ourselves a question, any question, our brain goes into action and searches for anything that looks like that question. It doesn't determine if the memory or the experience was a positive or a negative. It's a neutral. It just brings forth everything that matches what we are requesting. And so in this book, he also talks about quantum physics, about how all electrons and particles exist in a sea of potentiality, but they all remain invisible until attention is focused on them. And once attention is focused on them, the electron actually lights up and it comes into being. And so I thought this was a beautiful explanation of our unity principles of the law of mind action. Human beings create their experiences by the activity of their thinking. Everything in the manifest realm first has its beginning in thought. So we know that in our spiritual life, and now we know that in our physical world. So I invite you to just consider, what is it you focus your attention on? Is it on the joy in your life? Is it on the possibility? Or is it on the challenges we face? Because we all face them, and that's what life brings to us a lot of the time. But again, we can make it have different meaning. We can't necessarily change the things that happen, but we can give it their meaning. And we do that through the combination of our thoughts and our feelings. Because it's not just the power of the mind. Because if it was, any little thought we'd be having, we'd see manifesting all around us. But it is those thoughts that we connect to our heart, and we really put a lot of power and energy into them. And we really focus the energy into this laser beam that brings into manifestation what we may or may not want. And it's important that we have this combination of head and heart, because we want to make sure it's something that we want. And we don't want to be out of coherence. We're out of coherence when we think and affirm thoughts of health and healing, yet we practice, we're smoking, or we're not eating healthy, or we're not taking care of our body. There's a disconnect between our heart and our head. And so what is it we need to do and move into action to be when we are creating? And so in unity, we use the Bible as our guidebook. It's not just a series of stories that happened to people long ago, or the history of a people. It is a guidebook on how we can recreate or live our lives. Because the people in the book, or in the Bible, had things happen to them. They had experiences, they journeyed through it, and they were able to come to a greater understanding of themselves. So one of the stories that really relates to our power to create is the story of creation. And this is a story of how God created the heavens and the earth. And when he first began, there was no thing. There was darkness. There was chaos. And he called forth light. And light began to move over the waters. So God said, I command light to shine. And the light started shining. And God looked over and saw that it was good. And he separated the light from the darkness and made the light day and the darkness night. On the second day, he commanded the waters to separate above and below. He made the dome of the sky. He called the dome sky and the evening. This was the second day. On the third day, God commanded the land to begin to form, to have shape, to have substance. And again, he called it good. And on the fourth day, God created the sun and the moon, the greater light and the lesser light. And again, he called it good. On the fifth day, God commanded the ocean to be full of living creatures and the air to be filled with birds. He made sea monsters and all living creatures that swam in the sea. And again, God called it good. On the sixth day, God commanded the earth to give life to all creatures, tame and wild, animals and reptiles. And that's what happened. God made every one of them, and he looked at what he had done, and it was good. He also created human beings. They will be just like God himself. They will have stewardship over the land and over the animals, the fish, the birds, and the sea. And again, he called it good. And on the seventh day, God finished his work and he rested. And so in this creation story, as God was speaking and feeling the truth of what he wanted to create, he did not say, I think I'm going to do this. I think I might create a creature. He didn't say, am I able to do this? He did not say, will I be good enough? He said, I command, and it is good. So that is a process that we can work with for creating anything in our life. So whether we are conscious of it or not, we are creating in every moment of every day. And so by bringing the steps of creation into our mind, we can more consciously create those things that we want. And so you have a handout in your bulletin that outlines the steps. If you follow along, or you can use that later. So the way it works is we start with step number 1, where there was light from the darkness. So anytime you're feeling like you're in this place of chaos, you're in this place of feeling this divine discontent, that's a sign that there is something longing to be born through you, some new idea. It could be some great big idea, a new job, a new experience, a new relationship, or it can be something as simple as wanting a new, interesting way to drive to work. The creative process works in every area of our life. So when we begin to feel that need, that desire, that chaos, rather than being concerned about it, just breathe into it. Breathe into the darkness, into the chaos, and invite the light in. Because it is giving us the opportunity to bring something new forth. And some of the tools we can use is to allow it to have a voice, to journal, to meditate, to listen to the inner urgings, to shine your light. You can also brainstorm with a mentor or a trusted friend. You want to make sure that in the beginning you're speaking with someone that you trust, because the last thing you need is for someone to pour water on your new idea that's developing. And if no idea is dawning, if you're remaining in the chaos and the darkness, then invite divine mind, invite that light in to light up those spaces so that you can see what it is that wants to come forth. In step 2, the sky was created, and this represents faith. The water represents every unexpressed potential in mind. And so we need to have faith that we have the ability and the capability and the connection to spirit to bring forward whatever it is we'd like to bring forth. We establish a belief in these unlimited possibilities that no matter what's come before us in our life, we still always have the potential to create something new. And so we're developing that strong sense of faith. And so one of the things we do to strengthen our faith is to use denials and affirmations. So denials would deny the power of fear over any creation that you have or any of your abilities. And the affirmation could be that you are filled with the mighty power of God as you move forward with strength and courage. So it's denying the fear, not denying the situation, denying the fear, and affirming your power to create. On the third day, the earth was formed. So all things that were unformed began to come together in a more solid expression. This is represented by the dry land. So as we begin to focus more attention on this possibility within us, what are these stirrings? What are these potentials? We begin to imagine and we begin to focus our attention, just like with the electrons. We're being clear about what it is we want to bring forth and focusing our attention there. We want to visualize. We want to use our imagination like a pair of scissors that cuts around all things that don't match what we want to have happening. And the revealing word states that everything that is manifested was first a mental picture and was brought into expression by the forming power of the imagination. So how many of you daydream on a regular basis? To allow that movement of spirit to just happen. And so daydreams can be very powerful because they're like a dry run for what we'd like to happen. And so we need to daydream so deeply that it's not just an image in our mind, but we can feel and see ourselves in that situation. We can just be there, and it's alive. It's head and heart working together to bring forth this idea. We could also create a treasure map if we want to have a visual representation of what it is we'd like to be or do. And just always believe that you have that capability. On the fourth day, the sun and the moon were created. The sun represents understanding, that spiritual understanding that God is within us, Spirit is within us, always there to provide support, to provide inspiration. Understanding that our creations begin to take shape in our mind. And that we are not limited by the physical. We're not limited by anything that we've created to this point. We have the ability to just do what our heart is desiring. But we have to be willing to move into the action that we're guided to take. Sometimes we do go through all the work of creating the image, and it shows up for us, and we say no to it. Out of fear, out of who knows what. But we are more than what our physical world tells us, and we have to be willing to turn our attention to the inner power, be willing to nurture these ideas, to be selective about who we share them with, and to revisit the steps if we need to, because it's not necessarily a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 step. It could be we have the idea and we're moving along the process, but somewhere we stumble and we start to lose faith in ourselves. So we go back to step number 2. What is it we need to do to reaffirm and reestablish the faith? And then we vision again and we go forward. And this is a place where I invite you to look at the tools that you have, because we all have different tools. Do you meditate? Do you walk in nature? What are those things that really help you feel and be connected to spirit so that you can hear and understand what is being said to you? And because we're not about creating something that's already been. We are creating the life that we are born to live, to be the expression of who we've come here to be. And it will always be something wonderful and marvelous. And we may not believe that now, but that is truly what we are here to do. And so on the 5th day, God created the creatures of the sea and the air. And anytime we experience creatures or animals or anything like that in the Bible, it represents the swarming ideas, ideas from divine mind. And as we're moving from chaos and confusion into the awakening of a new idea, we understand that there's going to be a lot of ideas coming forth from us, within us, around us. There's lots of signs, there's lots of information, and we can be flooded with that if we don't use our discernment. So we use judgment and wisdom and discernment to say, which of these are the steps that are going to bring me to what I want to create? And so we sit with that, and we can, again, use our imagination to try out different scenarios. Maybe we have 2 paths, both equally good, something we want, but we're not sure which is the one that we need to be on now. So we try out different things. We need to be willing to let go of outdated thinking. And Mary Pickford said, the thing we call failure is not in the falling down, it is in the staying down. So how do we describe our experiences? Because they are really all for our good and our greatness. And getting caught in the outer experience of that is a lot of times what causes us to remain stuck. So on the 6th day, God created mammals and humankind. And this represents our male and female, our thinking nature and our feeling nature, our intuition and our action. And we were given stewardship over all the animals and over all the world. And this is to let us know that we work in conjunction with these divine ideas, that our thoughts and our feelings are working together, And if they're not, if, like I said, we're thinking one thing and doing another, or feeling another, or believing another, then we've created a crooked path, and we are out of coherence. And Spirit is having a very difficult time manifesting because it doesn't know what we want, because we don't know what we want. So how do we really sit in that wisdom and love and know what it is we want to create? And it invites you to move out of the head, because we need both. We need our thinking nature, we need our feeling nature. But if we're spending all of our time in thinking and we're not connecting to Spirit, then we're trying to do it all on our own. We're trying to think our way through. And we really wanted to express our wholeness and express our way through. And then on the final day, God rested. Everything he had created or had been created was declared good. And it is significant in that it means that God no longer intervenes in a completed work. It means that we have expended our energy now, and we are moving thoughts and ideas into being. They will now manifest. So ask yourself if what I have created is what I would like to manifest, because we can always go back and modify, but once we have released it through our power of thought, through our heart, it will come into being. And the Sabbath is also that time we're resting from all activity, because the steps to creation are the creation in mind and heart, and the expression is what we see when it finally shows up. And in the book The Sabbath by Wayne Muller, he talks about the need for the inhale and the exhale. The creation of the world was a life-giving inhale, taking it all in, looking at all potential, and the Sabbath is the exhale. It is the letting go. We create through the movement of the inhale and the exhale. And without the Sabbath exhale, there can be no life-giving inhale. So if you've ever had the experience of creating something and working on it, and this is me, I get tighter and tighter and tighter, and I forget to exhale, because I keep it trapped within, because I'm not allowing that rhythm of the breath. And that is so powerful for us. So I invite you to consider that if you don't like what's showing up in your life right now, if it's not exactly what you had in mind, it is what you had in mind. And you can't change it because it's already expressed out here, but you can always go back and change that seed thought, that beginning thought that began this creative process. Because we are powerful creators, and we can always change our mind, we can make a new choice, we can go forward, we can use these steps consciously every day. So I invite you to just put everything aside for a moment and just know that we are powerful creators. We are connected to the indwelling Spirit, always moving in and through and around us. We take a deep breath in, and we exhale, knowing that it is all good. And I thank you for being here. Allow the breath of Spirit to fill every cell in your body. As you exhale, feel the awe of the release. As we continue to focus on the breath, we turn our attention to our hearts and feel the movement of Spirit in each breath. As your body relaxes, as tensions leave your body, allow your outer concerns to drift away. For we are now focused only on the breath. Any concerns brought with you are no longer needed in this moment. Feel this movement of Spirit in and out through your heart, following the breath. If thoughts intrude, focus on the word ease. Allow the word to move in and out on the breath through the heart. Breathing in ease, exhaling ease. as we enter into this now moment, we know that it is the only moment that exists. Feel the rhythm of your breath and allow yourself to float away into a peacefulness that is all-consuming. With the rhythm of the breath, we float gently on a sea of tranquility, letting all thought evaporate. The peace and solitude of this place fills every cell of our being. And here we pause for a moment in the stillness. In this peaceful, tranquil place, you know that all things are possible. You understand that you have come into this human experience with a purpose. You are here to do and create or be something that only can come through you. So ask yourself the question, who have you come here to be? What is that one thing that can only come through you? Because without you in the world, a bright light would have been missing. Without you, there would be one less person to add grace to this world. Without you, a family would be incomplete. Without you, a child would be alone. Without you, the world would be missing some wonderful ideas. So who have you come here to be? Have you come here to be wisdom? Have you come here to be joy? Have you come to shine the light of understanding to all those who know you? Have you come to share a unique gift in your own special way? Because there is a divine purpose for your life. And if that has not yet come into your awareness, by opening your heart and your mind to the indwelling Spirit, it will be revealed. So breathe deeply of all that Spirit has to offer. As the fragrance of Spirit spills forth from our open hearts, we rejoice in all that life has given us. For it is what has made us realize our wholeness and our oneness with God. Every experience has a divine origin, an opportunity within it to grow, to learn, to understand, to claim our good. And we know that through the power of Spirit, no matter matter what dream we hold in our heart, the way before us is easy and the path is clear. We know the power of our thoughts and words as we silently affirm, I am a co-creator with God, and I bring forth all that I am to be. I am a co-creator with God, and I bring forth all that I am to be. The way is easy, and the path is clear, whatever we hold in our hearts. And now as we begin to return our attention to this moment in time, we are filled with an understanding of our inner power. We allow those words of power to bubble up from within, knowing that we can create anything we choose. And what if we start right now? What if today, in this moment, we commit to being the one we are meant to be? What if right now we decide, we choose to shine our light, to celebrate the power of our story and our life song? No matter what has come before or what is yet to be, we can say yes to this moment, that now I fully express the one I am meant to be. So breathe into this knowing. Feel your body relaxed, your mind becoming more conscious of this moment. And become fully aware of this beautiful day, of every soul that is gathered today with us, and all those we remain connected to. We are a magnificent spiritual community. We rejoice in the magnificence of life, and we are forever grateful. Amen.